And welcome back to another session of Gaming with God. I'm your host, Grumpy Old Dude. Do something a little bit different today. Got the Amazon and Diablo 2 up into the hell level. Took care of Den of Evil yesterday. Thought we'd look at Uboat. Take a peek here at a World War II sub-simulator. This is in early access, currently available on both Steam and GOG. It is now in version 129. B129 is now stable. It is current. They are working on version 130. I believe it started with 114. So, and it has progressed consecutively with 115, 16, 17, 18. So the developers, Deepwater Studio, quite good about working on this game and moving it forward. So I thought we'd take a look at that today and see what your thoughts are. Now, I do have some mods installed, okay? Custom actions. This allows other mods to do things that are not in the game, all right? So it doesn't do anything by itself. It enables other mods, and it's a prerequisite, obviously, for those mods. More officers on board, 128, 129. I'm not sure why, but 128 is called for by 129. At least when I loaded it up, it was. This allows you to put more officers on board the vessel than the standard game allows. The expanded crew does the same thing, but with enlisted instead of officers. Slot machine. This adds extra storage to the galley. Compass navigation does exactly what it says. It creates a compass by which you can navigate. Start-stop alarm. When you come under attack, an alarm sounds, and this causes stress for the crew. The alarm doesn't always shut off when a particular captain, like me, for example, might feel it should shut off. So this gives you the ability to manually shut it off. It also gives you the ability to train your crew and manually turn the alarm on. No more heart attacks. Stress can cause sailors to crack under pressure, and they can have heart attacks and die. I like to think that most of those would have been weeded out in sub-training. So I put this in there so that doesn't happen. ID book memory is a mod called for by UBE, which is U-Boat Expanded. When you look at a ship through the telescope, you see a silhouette, some detail depending on the time of day and the lighting. The ID book is what you would use to identify that vessel. Historical flags identification does exactly what it sounds like it would do. It puts historically accurate flags on for the imagery. HF Safe Patch, Historical Flag Safe Patch. I don't know what it does exactly, but I do know from my days with Morrowind, Skyrim, Oblivion, that when you have a patch and the author of that patch releases a safe patch, you need to install that as well. BDU, that's your headquarters. BDU convoy reports. This tells you about what other subs are reporting about convoys en route and transiting. Helps you to intercept some targets. U-Boat Expanded. This does a lot. And for me, it's a must-have mod. It adds ports. It adds boats. It adds communication. It adds all kinds of stuff. Authentic goods. This changes the imagery of what shows in your galley. When you have foodstuffs in there, this is a more authentic representation of what those images should be. Now, there are a number of people who will tell you that TDC mods are required, targeting data computer. I don't agree. I'll explain why as we get into the game. Suffice to say, I don't do manual torpedo targeting. There are several ways actually of manually computing a targeting solution for firing your torpedoes. I don't do that. I let the officers on board the ship do that. Why? 18 years in the Army, one of the critical elements to leadership in the military is a willingness and an ability to delegate authority. And when you delegate authority, you have to allow the people to whom you delegated that authority, you have to allow them the time and opportunity to do what you delegated to them to do. If you're not going to, why the hell did you delegate them any authority in the first place? So I don't do that. That's their job. They need to do their job. So there's my mods. Okay. What we're going to show you today, now this is a little warning saying that some of these mods introduce scripts to the game. Yep, I know that. I am aware that it introduces scripts to the game. And now let's see here. I'm going to have to try and find the right window here to get captured on the device here. There we go. Now we're running. Now, the loading screens take a little while, largely because of some of the mods I've got. In particular, I think UBE slows it down quite a bit. It's a trade-off I'm willing to accept. One of the things UBE does is, like I said, it introduces new ports. Port of Wilhelmshaven, for example, is not in the vanilla game. This is what the UBE is added. The standard game starts in January 1941. This one starts in September 1939. So Link, the author of UBE, has added a year and a half of game time. No small feat, I don't think. Okay, we're going to take this one, U32. It's a normal difficulty. Now, this is a Type 7A sub. In the vanilla game, you start with a Type 7C. A 7C has an 88 millimeter gun on the deck. The 7A does not have that gun. We do not have a deck gun. We're going to start with balance. Now, these are the options that are available to you. You can make it kind of arcade-ish, okay? Just to have fun with it. If you want a little bit of a simulation and challenge, you can make it balanced. If you're a hardcore sub-simmer and you want to be in charge of everything and suffer the consequences of every misstep, then you can go hardcore. Difficulty. How much crew management are you enjoying? You want to have very little to do with crew management and tasking, then go minimal. You want to have to tell your guys to wipe their butts after they go to the lavatory, then take expert. I take intermediate. Tutorial introduction. If you check this box, the game will want you to go through the tutorial. It won't force you to, but it will want you to. And it will tell you that. I am not going to hide the detection hint. That gives me a little bit of forewarning. I will go with realistic builds. I will go with expanded sailor management. I am not going to go with darker nights. You go to darker nights, and it is like pitch black at night. You can't see shit. Normal or first person. You can play this game in first person. I don't. Okay. AI difficulty, I'll go to medium. Economic difficulty, I will go to hard. You have to buy your torpedoes. You have to buy your supplies. That's the economy. I go to hard because I think it's too easy to start with. Okay, we're at 62% realism. Is what the game computes. Now, you can customize your skipper. You can change his body shape. Okay. For example, let's come over here, apply that, and he's kind of skinny. A little beefier. A little rounder around the edges. You can change his pants. You can change his shirt. You can give him an eye patch. Give him a pipe. You can change his hair. You can change his beard. Okay. You can customize your captain. You can rename your captain. Grumpy. Captain Grumpy. Okay, U-Boat Expanded, version 0.7.5b. Over 300 neutral vessels were sunk by German U-boat fleet during the war. 300 ships. That's a lot of life, a lot of money, a lot of steel. And like I said, the load screen takes a few minutes. I may edit some of this out, I may not. What I want to do with this video right here, we're not going to get that much into playing the game, if at all. What I want to do is show you the crew management, because that is a key element to the game, a key aspect. There was one silly thing I was doing at the beginning. I thought it was intuitive. And it turned out to be very, very counterproductive, and I'll explain that when I get to it here as soon as the game loads up. We will start with the crew management system. I will pause the game so that game time doesn't pass and go into crew management for you. I don't believe it has materially changed from 128 to 129, not that I've seen anyway. My back scratcher. Looks like a yard rake. Just extends so I can reach those hard to reach places. Slip it down inside the back of the sweater. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's what the doctor ordered. Okay, Port of Wilhelmshaven, Thursday, September 7th, 1939. Our nice shiny U-boat there alongside the dock. The graphics in the game are actually very, very good. I think, anyway. Okay, so we pause the game. And let's cover just real briefly the controls up here. Here you got your battery indicator. You're at 73% capacity right now. Fuel is at 91%. Oxygen, this is the air quality inside the boat. Well, we're on the surface. The hatches are open. We've got fresh air. Discipline. Reputation. Reputation is how you expand. You expand reputation to add officers to your crew, to add enlisted, to create mission options. Currently, 7 of 17 sailors are on duty. We have $6,001, Deutschmarks, whatever you want to call it, in our bank to use to supply our boat. The telegraph, this is where you indicate your speed. Forward, reverse, diesels, or electric engines. Here's your depth meter. Surface, deck awash. Deck awash means your deck is at sea level. The conning tower is sticking out of the water, but the boat itself is submerged. Periscope depth, whoops, you want to click that. Periscope depth and maximum safe depth. Here is your rudder control, and here is the compass added by the compass nav. Okay. And then this takes you to world view versus local view. In the menu, you have your journal, management, which is the crew management. We'll cover, that's what we're going to do next here. Headquarters, your campaign, your U-Boatopedia. Okay, it's an encyclopedia, U-boat stuff. Save, load, settings, and exit. Do be careful playing the game that you don't come over here and hit exit when what you want to do is in this mode here, center view is the bottom of this by the menu. It's real easy to do that, and then just flip to the bottom because you know you want the bottom button, and you hit exit. And before you know it, you're back at your desktop. You're going, shit. Okay, here we go. Crew management. We have 5 officers allowed. We have 5 on board. We are allowed a crew of 30. We have 17 on board. 1, 2, 3. Oops. We are going to board these other ones there. Now we have 22 enlisted on board. Schedule. This is set up for 3 shifts, 8 hours on, 16 hours off. I am deleting that 3rd shift. Why? Because nobody is going to be off shift for 16 hours in a row on a submarine out in the middle of the ocean during the war. What the hell are you going to do with 16 hours off? Can't go anywhere, can't do anything. A reasonable shift would be 6 on, 6 off, 6 on, 6 off. Okay? You're going to have 2 shifts a day. And that's how it works. Grumpy is the senior officer. He's taking the 6 a.m. to noon shift, not the midnight to 6. And he'll take 6 p.m. to midnight. Rank has its privileges. Mr. Buchel here is our junior officer. Think commanding officer, CO, and executive officer, XO. Executive officer is second in command. He gets the graveyard shift, but he also gets the afternoon shift. Now, we need a mechanic on each shift, otherwise known as an engineer. Think Scotty from Star Trek. And then the communications officer, we are not going to schedule him. He will be on the radio or on the hydrophone as is needed. Okay? Tasks. What jobs do we have for them? We'll start with the officers. Being an officer, keeping your crew functioning. That's number 1. That's job 1. Observation. I am going to reduce this to an 8. Now, you do not change these numbers by typing on this board if you don't have to. Please don't do that. It causes issues, or at least it used to. I don't know if it still does or not. Hit the shift key, hold the shift key, and scroll your mouse. You won't see the numbers change, but you'll hear the clicks. And when you click off of it, it'll be changed. So reduce those to 8s. Why did I do that? Because I am going to increase the nav table to a 9. It is imperative that you know where you are out in the middle of the ocean. Okay? Our 2 engineers, first and foremost, is repair things. Secondly is keep the engines in order. All right? You can task them to automatically load torpedoes. I will do that for now, and I will explain to you why that's not necessarily a good idea. But for right now, we're going to do that. Radio man. Hydrophone, radio. I want both of these at a 9. Okay, I want him doing one or the other, depending if we're on the surface, I want him on the radio. If we're submerged, I want him on the hydrophone. He is also our medic. Okay, if somebody is seriously hurt and needs medical attention, I want him taking care of that right now. I don't want my crew dead. And then 11 is rest as needed. Okay, so there's my officers' taskings. That's basic at a minimum. All right, you can assign them to use the flak gun. You can assign them to use the deck gun, I believe, right here. But we don't have one of those. You can assign them to cook. That helps morale. It also increases food consumption. You can assign them to play cards. It increases morale, but means that they're not doing one of these other functions. You can assign them to automatically reload weapons. You can assign your engineers to salvage replacement parts. Use scrap metal and make parts out of it. Okay, we're going to look at the enlisted. I did an expanded crew management. The basic crew management only, I think, has 6 tasks here. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I am going to eliminate one of them. I do not want my enlisted personnel. Whoops. I don't want my enlisted people walking by and raising the periscope. Okay, just because they felt like it. That's not acceptable. I want these at 10s. They should be working on the engines first. Secondly is observation. Be up on deck with the binoculars looking. Clean as needed, Cook is needed. Helm station, man the helm station. Man the depth steering. All right. Valves is next. I want a 6 on valves. Power switches, turn things on and off. Reinforced bulkheads and help with repairs, that comes next. And then assist at the radio station, that comes last. All right, there's my morning evening shift for the enlisted. Now, one thing I should mention, this is officer's shift. This is not your enlisted crew shift. Okay, this is your officer's shift. We have 22 people on board. I am going to assign. We have how many tasks here? I did 9, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 tasks. I want 12 sailors to a shift. Actually, I'm going to make it 13. Okay, we only have 22 on board, so there will at all times be 9 sailors who are not working. Why do I have more sailors on shift than I have tasks being performed? If I have 10 tasks to do and I have 10 sailors per shift that are on, they are constantly having to work their entire shift. They don't get a 15-minute break. They don't get 5 minutes to relax, to deep sigh, whatever. This way, with more sailors than tasks, they get a little bit of downtime even during their shift. Okay? That helps with morale. And just think about it, your job. All right? You don't bust your butt your entire shift. Okay? I don't care who you are. You don't. Don't lie to me. I won't lie to you. Now, you can assign sailors to help officers. UBE means you have to earn that right. The vanilla game, you can assign up to 2 sailors to assist officers in their tasks. Those sailors make the officers more efficient at what they're doing. Okay? And they would come out of the pool of sailors who are off duty, not out of the pool where they're on duty. Okay? So there you go. There's what you have. And the mistake I was making, and I don't even see that option anymore. Oh, here it is. When I first started playing this game, I would go morning shift, add sailor, and I would add sailors by name. Who's on my morning shift? Who's on my evening shift? Problem is, as I said, this schedule is your officer's schedule, not your enlisted. So I was inadvertently causing all kinds of issues. Just don't add sailors by name, and you'll be fine. Okay? There's your basic crew management. Now, what do you do, though, Grumpy? How do you play this game? Well, you've got your officers down here. Here's our commanding officer. Here's our other leader. Now, I just drag these over. I like to put my officers together here, and I like to have my 2 engineers together. Here's my commander, my XO, my 2 engineers, and my radio guy. That's the way I like it set up. You might want it different, and that's fine. All right, we're going to scroll in, take a look at the boat. Use the A key, we're going to slide to the rear. Stern torpedo here, it is empty. We need to load this stern torpedo tube. I'm going to hold the control key down. Here's the electric compressor button, here's your diesel compressor button. That's where you fill your air tanks with reserve pressurized air. When you submerge, to make the sub sink, you take water into the ballast tanks. That water creates a lot of weight. Water is heavy, folks. I think we all know that. You've carried a 5-gallon bucket of water across the yard, that gets real heavy real fast. That's what makes the sub sink, is it takes in water and it sinks. Now, in order to make the sub rise, you got to push that water out of the ballast tanks. Okay? That's what the pressurized air is for. You have the workshop here where your engineers make spare parts. Electric engines, diesel engines. Ventilation is right up here. Where is it? Here's my control. There it is. When you submerge and close all the hatches, everybody inside that ship is breathing the same air and exhaling into that same air. And over a period of time, it's not all that long, that air becomes less and less efficient to breathe. Heavier in CO2 and lighter in oxygen. Ventilation allows you to scrub some of the CO2 out of that air and keep it breathable longer. Your galley, right here, tells you how much food you have. We have 1 day's worth of food in the kitchen. We have 3 days total, including what's in storage reserves. All right, so we'll be adding food when we go to the supply house. Here we have the crew quarters. Here's the control room. Number of options in here. The light switch, which is how you turn things on and off. Pump, echo sounder, gyro compass, your navigator station, this table right here, your periscope, and your helmsman station right here, depth steers. Okay, here's the radio room, radio and hydrophone, officers' quarters with storage cabinet, and then the forward deck crew area and forward torpedoes, which are also, bow tubes are currently empty. Okay. Up above, as you see, we have no deck gun. This is the targeting computer, the attack periscope. In the conning tower, we have the observation post up here on the surface, where they stand the binoculars, and we have your anti-aircraft gun, your machine gun. Okay. Coming over here, we have the leading officer. And there should be a recruiting officer over here. And then the warehouse. The lead officer is where you go to get your orders. How were you impressed with my last patrol when I have not yet gone on patrol? Minor detail. Are there any orders from the Admiralty? Let's find out what our options are. There's a new offensive, attack Scapa Flow, up the northern end of Scotland up there. And sometimes it filters through these on its own. I don't know why. Sometimes I have to manually do it using the escape key. And it does not appear to be filtering through on its own. So we're going to hit the escape key and then hit resume. New offenses, assault on British shipping. Invasion of France. And there's another one down south.
These are current orders from headquarters.
Down by the road by Gibraltar. Okay. It wants me to do this one here. Okay, fine. All right, we have 3 missions to choose from here. And we have different rewards for different missions. 6,000 for our budget, 100% reputation. Every 100 points in reputation allows you to do things. You can send officers to headquarters to do research on new technologies. You can bring another officer on board. You can add to your crew. 4,000 added to the budget if we patrol this zone for 1,070 nautical miles or more. Another 4,000 to the budget if we sink 4,000 or more tons of target ships. Would also give us an officer, a communications officer. I am not real big on getting a second communications officer real quickly. I want an engineer. Now there's a leader. We don't get a free engineer. We don't have that option. If I took him, I'd put him in headquarters, redo some researches. Of course, I could do that with the communications officer too. Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to do this one just because it's simpler. 1,070 nautical miles of patrolling within this zone and sink 4,000 or more tons of enemy shipping. That is our mission. Okay. Now, before we go on our mission, remember our torpedo tubes were empty. We only have 3 days worth of food. That's not sufficient. So we go to the warehouse, tell the warehouseman, show me what you got. Now, right now we have 1 open torpedo spot. We're going to take a free torpedo. In the stern, we have one in the rack. Now, bear in mind, our torpedo tubes are empty right now. As we load the boat with supplies, the crew will be loading those torpedo tubes. So we'll need to come back and get more torpedoes again. Fuel, I want to absolutely top off. Our budget is going to fall. We're going to have to buy some fuel. We just spent 500 of our budget. Ammunition, we do not have a deck gun, remember. Okay, so we're not going to worry about that. We have ammunition for our flak guns. I'm not going to worry about that. Here's the big thing, food. It is almost impossible, in my opinion, to have too much food. So we're going to buy 312 units of pork. We are going to buy, if you know anything at all about naval history, you know that scurvy at sea was a real problem, lack of fresh fruits and vegetables. So we are going to buy all the fresh fruits we can get our paws on. We have here canned bread. We want more bread than that. Let's see. So we have lots of pork, lots of fruit, lots of bread. Yeah, we'll bring some fish on board too. Canned fish, aka sardines, aka never mind. I like to buy spare parts. I like to buy a med kit. I've got $1,299 left in my budget. It's $500 for each one of those. Okay. I'm going to buy the med kit. I'm going to buy one spare part. Now I'm down to $299. So I'm pretty much done. So now what we're going to do is load the boat. That's going to take 2 days to load everything that I just ordered from the warehouse. And in those 2 days, we get news reports. Things happen as the war goes on. Well, we're not really at war yet. September of 39. Germany did not invade Poland until October of 1939. New contact ship. Yeah, we're in a friendly port. We're going to have boats coming and going. You're going to get a lot of this. You can read these things if you're inclined to. I skip by them. Report from BDU states that the Canadian government has declared war on Germany. Okay, so we have filled our ship. Let's take a look at our food stocks now. We have food for 39 days. Much better than 3. Okay? But remember I said now our torpedo tubes are loaded? Stern torpedo is loaded. Let's come up here to the bow. Those 4 tubes are loaded. That means those 5 torpedoes came off the storage racks, which means we need to put 5 torpedoes back on the storage racks. Otherwise, we're going to be going to war low on bullets. Another thing, when you pull a torpedo from a port here or from the shelf and put it on your boat, you cannot just pull that same one over and over again. When you pull this torpedo out of there and put it on here, it's not there anymore. That was another mistake I made when I first started playing this game. Okay, so now we're going to wait for those 5 torpedoes to get loaded. And I don't know why, but it makes you stay in port for a week. It will not take a week to load 5 torpedoes. I don't know why it does that, but it does. Apparently they can only load 1 torpedo per day. I don't know. All these daily reports. Okay, now, we were just in port for a week. Did we go through a week's worth of food? Be a reasonable question. No, we did not. Why? Our crew did not cook and live in the sub the whole time we're here. They're in barracks. Okay? So we still have 39 days worth of food. All right? So we are ready to begin our patrol. And when we come back to U-Boat with Gaming with God here, we will begin our initial patrol. So for right now, we are going to save. Ready for first patrol. And that is where we will begin. All right. Hit that like button, click subscribe, comment down below. Give me your thoughts and your feedback. We'll figure out what direction to go here. I am going to do some U-Boat videos. I really like the game. I hope you'll like some of it too. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, have fun, and as always, until I see you again, stay the hell off my lawn. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.